Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now June 17th of 2023, and though Jon and Dave are really heavily working on the marketing strategy for the Ahsoka Tano series, which by the way debuts on August 26th, we have a little ways to go, not much longer. We're going to be getting a final trailer by this July, within the first 2 weeks, so look forward to that. But we have a lot of things to discuss about what Jon Favreau was able to confirm, and basically how it is something that I believe is a disgrace essentially to Star Wars fans, and really kind of just a missed opportunity. So let's dive into everything about what's really going on here. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and let's dive into the details. Now, we know that Jon and Dave are on a mission, and they're on a very strict goal right now, and that is to bring Star Wars Legends back to life, to really kind of just make live action adaptations of Legends content. And I've said this numerous times, right now Star Wars is a big mess. There's a lot to clean up and a lot of things to piece together. It's like Humpty Dumpty is all broken and you gotta put them back together again. And basically that's Jon and Dave's job right now. So what Jon Favreau had to say, I think, is very concerning about where Disney is heading, how Disney is operating now as a company, because they're losing so much money. I mean, with Elementals failing, with The Little Mermaid not meeting expectations, Indy 5 getting, of course, in the way of a disaster, and that's just the beginning. Alright, we have a lot more on top of that. But anyways, moving to the next big thing. With both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni actively developing Mando Season 4, as well as Ahsoka Season 1 and 2, Favreau recently got involved in an interview where he confirmed something huge for Star Wars fans. Now, Favreau stated the following. Well, one thing that was very tough, a tough pill to swallow recently, was the big decision that Disney made, final with us, as they insisted that we don't move forward with a Season 2 for the Book of Boba Fett. It's something that we really wanted to do to transform the character and to provide the fans with a brand new take on Boba portrayed by Morrison. We were really going to reboot the whole thing and kind of give the community the Boba Fett they deserve and grew up with. We were so eager to do this when pitching it to Disney back in 2022, and it was moving along very well for a while, until recently Disney insisted that we halt development on that and do away with Tamora Morrison's portrayal as Boba Fett for a very long time to recover from the fan reception we got with Season 1. Now let me pause here quick, guys. I don't know if you guys have been following, but there was a first draft that was created for the second season of Boba Fett by Jon Favreau. It wasn't 100% complete, but it was getting near completion, and basically what he was going to do was a soft reboot of the Boba Fett series, and basically giving us, the fans, the old Boba Fett. What Morrison wanted all along. And we know that Morrison was very angry with Disney over what they did with the Book of Boba Fett series, of how they threw in Din Djarin taking up the role of, like, what was it, like 2 to 3 whole episodes almost, and really taking away the spotlight from his own show. Now, Morrison was very unhappy with that. He did not like that. But in this scenario, you have Jon Favreau confirming that Boba Fett Season 2 is basically going to transform the character and give us the Boba Fett that we deserved. The Boba Fett that we all asked for and expected to see in the first season. The season that, by the way, Kathleen Kennedy bulldozed and Robert Rodriguez really mishandled. Because, by the way, he was an executive producer. Kathy Kennedy allowed him to make big creative decisions, so we really can't blame Jon and Dave fully on what happened with Boba Fett. In fact, the scooter gang chase was all Robert Rodriguez. That was not Jon and Dave. Let's be clear about that. Moving on, though, to the more important material now, is that this is going to show you that Disney is very much in full panic mode. They are right-sizing their Star Wars slate right now. And this is why the delays have happened, not just because of the writer's strike, but also because they are right-sizing all of their upcoming projects. They're removing some projects from Marvel, and the same exact thing is going as followed for Star Wars. Moving to the next thing. On top of this, He states, "It was a very tough call for them, and especially for myself and Dave. Disney just didn't want to pour in the budget that we were asking for with Season 2, and that was sort of the root of our problems with development of a second entry. We are, of course, trying to find a workaround to using Boba Fett for Mando Season 4, and how we can utilize that properly. But Season 4, of course, of Mando is still in the works. But Season 2 for Boba Fett right now is a no-go, and I know Morrison was upset about that update from those high up at Disney. He really wanted to do it, and he was very inspired with our new approach to revitalize the character in a second season. We were really going to do what was initially promised, such as all killer, no filler, and going full bounty hunter style missions, episode by episode. It was going to be a blast, but we needed a large budget for this one. But right now, Disney is right-sizing their slate of shows and films, so they are simplifying everything. So again, Jon Favreau has said this before in the past, that Boba Fett was supposed to be a very big character in the final episode of Mando Season 3. He was supposed to have a grand entrance, using his Slave One, knocking down those stormtroopers one by one, or the Mando troopers, as I like to call them, that have the Beskar armor. And he had an entire moment written out for him that Disney and Kathleen Kennedy, specifically Kathleen Kennedy, actually strictly told Jon, "We can't use Boba Fett in this moment. Take him out. It's not worth the risk," because of how poor Boba Fett Season 1 performed, basically. And that just goes to show you that Kathleen Kennedy has no knowledge about how Star Wars works, what the fans want to see on the big screen or at home on Disney+. And once again, given that they wrote out Boba Fett from Season 3 of Mando, they are refusing a second season of Boba Fett from Jon and Dave because they wanted to go on a high budget, but they also wanted to give Morrison a great way to redeem himself as the actor of Boba Fett by giving us the Boba that we all asked for and wanted to see in Boba Fett as a show. That really disappointed so many fans because it really humanized the character too much. It dived way too far into his emotions. And sure, that's fine if you want to use that in moderation, but it was the entire series, guys. I mean, this is Boba Fett. We were supposed to get bounty hunting and stuff around those lines as promised. Robert Rodriguez gave us a false promise. He literally told us this show is all killer, no filler. It was false advertising, 110%. And I think that's also what led to the fan disappointment, is that they were all expecting that because of what Rodriguez told us. In fact, Rodriguez got in trouble for that by Lucasfilm and by Disney specifically, and that very well has a lot to do with the fact why he's not involved, or wasn't involved, I must add, with Mando Season 3. So anyways, guys, I'm really intrigued to hear what you guys have to say about Jon's comments on Boba Fett Season 2, of how it's scrapped, it's not happening, and everything related to Morrison. And if you guys really did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No hiding from night to moon.